Gurus, fake gurus, fake coaches. Do you need a coach, or is it a massive waste of money? So in this video, I'm going to explore whether or not it's worth getting a coach, whether or not you should have a coach, and is it just a hyped up NLP sales pitch that people draw you into? And because there's enough information on places like this, YouTube channels, to get the information for free, should you be just getting it for free? That said, I am sharing loads of information on this channel for free, and all I'd ask for you in exchange of that is for you to hit that subscribe button if you're not already a follower, and hit that bell icon to notify you when we are recording and releasing these videos. If you are a follower, please give us a thumbs up, please give us a comment, and thank you for coming back to the page. So do you need a mentor? Is it just all fake and hyped up stuff? So before we dive into that, I've got a question at the end of this video that I'm going to ask you, which should really identify whether you do or you don't. Just for the sake of transparency, I may have a little bit of a biased view over this because I actually have become a coach and I use coaches myself. So I'm going to explain this on the side of somebody who uses coaches and who has now become a coach. But I'm also going to try and look at the perspective of this from the other side when you don't need a coach. And I've had many times when I'm not wanting a coach, not used a coach, and just relied on free information alone. So the biggest question I get asked all the time is, why would you pay a coach if the information's out there for free? And I'll answer you, in my view, why I would pay a coach when the information is there for free. And when I use free information, I started off paying coaches and then thought it wasn't worth paying, and I was reading and listening to around 100 books per year, every single year for about 6 years. And that was fantastic, but to a point where I had too much information. I didn't know which direction to go in with my information that I actually held. And as a result of not having anybody keeping me accountable, I ended up spinning far too many plates. In 2017, 2018, this proper nearly bankrupted me, and I'm still climbing myself out of a bit of a hole from some of the financial mess that I got myself in as a result, because I didn't have that accountability. I also get asked all the time, like, one of the things to look out for, people say, make sure somebody's done what you are looking to achieve to do, which is a massive thing in general. But one of the last coaches that I got as actually a mentor slash coach slash mastermind was a guy that had never run a business himself before, but he's running a great franchise. This is a franchise recognized by banks. So when you go to banks and you try and get lending, they will recognize if you've got a accredited and a correct business coach sitting over you. And this is Action Coach Group. So he was trained by Brad Sugar's organization to run coaching. And I'd seen the results he had in other businesses. If you think about football and football managers, Mourinho, Alex Ferguson never played football at high level, but yet they was great coaches. So it's not always a must to look out for a coach that has actually done what you want to do, although it is a massive bonus. But if coaches have guided people into what you want to do and have not done it yourself, still always maybe take that as consideration. But personally, I do prefer coaches that have walked the walk of what they're saying. But I have used a coach that hasn't walked the walk of what they're saying. So let me give you a kind of example case as well here of when I've had a coach and not had a coach, and why I actually have gone back to coaches. I said I want to try and tell you why I feel coaches are useful. You think about, again, using the football example, David Beckham didn't give up Alex Ferguson once he learned how to bend that ball into the top corner. He still trained and he still had a coach. Tiger was the same. As soon as he could hit that ball fantastic, he didn't dip his coach. If you look at every big organisation, they've all got consultants and business coaches within their businesses. It's kind of just got a little bit of a different wrapper to what people label furus and gurus. Obviously, I understand on the other side of it, there's lots of people out there. I've got faith in human beings. I believe 90% of the coaches out there that don't deliver, or 90% of people out there in any job that don't deliver, has got the intention to deliver, just not the experience or the qualification or the skills to be able to deliver what their intentions are. And you think about this in example, how many people do you know that are bad drivers, yet how many people do you know that admit they're a bad driver? And the thing with coaching, like any other industry, whether it's an accountant, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a doctor, you're going to get a good and bad version of that. Whether it's a boyfriend or girlfriend, anything involving a human being, you're going to get a good and bad version of it. So very much like a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if you marry the person you kiss first when you're at school, often that's not a great recipe for you being able to have a lifelong fulfilling relationship. So like with anything, with a coach, with a lawyer, with a boyfriend, girlfriend, anything with a human being involved with, you want to qualify and disqualify them and have a great process of doing that. And like with anything, you'll get good and bad versions. As I said, most people have not got the intention to be bad. I feel a small percentage, maybe 5% of people have the intention to go out and rip you off. The rest of them think they're good, but they're not as good as they think they are. And going back to that analogy, how many people do you know are bad drivers? But the problem with, the challenge with coaching or anything that's got a low barrier to entry is it don't filter out. Like, you've got bad doctors, but because you have to go to university maybe for like 5-10 years, however long it takes you to get your doctor's degree, it filters out the people that are not qualified to do this role. Where with coaching, people think they're qualified and it don't filter them out. And the same again, you get lots of bad property investors, but they feel they're good investors. You get lots of bad business people in general and they think they're good business people, but because there's no level of qualification to go through, there's no filtering out system. As a result of this, you'll get more people that have got good intention but don't know how to deliver and not got the self-awareness to admit that they don't know how to deliver. But I feel there's a large sense of responsibility as to rely on that person to do the due diligence on the person you're getting to coach them. And in today's world, it's never been easier to do that due diligence. You can search people, get recommendations. I actually turned up in this All About Samuel Leeds property Facebook group where they're just constantly highlighting gurus or fake coaches. The concept behind the group I think is fantastic because I feel there should be more regulation in this space, but the group is a little bit hateful. And when I turned up in that group, I literally, somebody who follows me said, you've turned up in that group. I wasn't part of the group. So I've gone in there and looked at it, and I don't mind being challenged. I don't mind being asked where I am as a person, my business. I've got loads of mistakes I've made. I'm transparent about them. I'm transparent about the hole and climbing myself out of what I made in sort of 2018 when I was scaling up a little bit too quick, the mistakes I made in hiring, trying to spin too many plates. I'm really transparent about that. But what I don't like, I didn't even mind turning up in the group. What the bit I disliked about turning up in that group was the preconceived conception of me, what they give me as soon as I turn up in there. So the guy that mentioned me in there actually said, I think we've got another furu in town. And no matter what you do in business, the same way of selling your business is the same whether you are furu or you're not a furu. But everybody gets tarred under the same brush. So because I had adverts out, because I market myself, and because I try and sell something, which if you've got business and you're not trying to sell something, it's kind of foolish not to. But because I went down these routes, he said, I feel we've got a new furu in town. Does anybody know of him? So for me, if he just said, has anybody heard of him? This guy's showing up, I want to know if he's genuine. I would have commended that. But because he labelled me a furu, that was a little bit offensive by me. Then one of the admins of the group jumped in and said, why are you calling him a furu? I actually know his content. And he said, it just gives me that vibe. He's a geezer, barrow boy type person. So then I jumped into the conversation and I said, look, if you judge me on anything other than just my preconceived conception and your conception of coaches, that's fine, but not just off of just the way I talk. Obviously, barrow boy is relating back to an East London barrow boy and somebody just poor, like geezer type poor person. But it turned out pretty good because I answered the questions in there. I highlighted to people, like one of the things that people always say is check out their companies, blah, blah. It's not a great indication of a company. If you've got a property company which you're growing, then as a result, that's going to always be in arrears because the refurbs you're doing. Or when you're growing a business, sometimes it does go in arrears until you generate the income to break that even. So I explained all this in the group, explained the transparency, and actually the guy that posted it went, fair dues for you posting. And it turned out quite well. Even one of the admins in the group said he knows me, follows me on my other platforms, and it kind of turned out pretty well for me. But whether or not should you have a coach is massively dependable on you. So depending on your results, if you want to buy one property, you probably don't need a coach. You probably can get it from a book or a podcast. If you want to build something into anything, definitely if it's substantial or anything that is like kind of even a fair size as even a side hustle, you want to get these guidance. So one of the main reasons I get guidance and I seek out coaching still to this day is because too much information, like I was saying earlier on with all the books I read, is difficult. It leaves you confused and you don't know what to do first, what to do next. Like a gym example, there's loads of fitness programs online, but the people that get the best results are people who've got the personal trainers. Although them same personal trainers like Joe Wicks, he puts that for free online, but you've not got the detailed plan, you've not got the accountability. And when you pay for something, you pay attention. My friend is a car trader and he traded in an Part X Mercedes S-Class, fully range, 90k car for 14k because it had 140,000 miles on it, only 5 years old. What would you have valued more? A 5-year-old one with 140 miles on it for 14k, or the brand spanking new one with 0 miles on it for 90k? It's exactly the same car, drives exactly the same, but yet everybody would value the 90k one more because they paid more for it, although it's exactly the same vehicle. So it's the same with anything. The more you pay for it, it's something in your subconscious mind and in your psychology, the more you will pay attention to that. So this is really important to invest in yourself. But even with, like, I've been on courses with the free information. Another big value I get from courses is the plugins, like the contracts, the templates. And this is the mark of a good course for me, that I can plug straight into my business, because time's money. So I can watch all the videos. It tells me to build out these lead magnets, these email scripts and all these different things, and tell me what to do, but I still got to have the time to implement that. And the great courses that I invest in have them as plugins. So I can just edit them and plug straight into my business. Also, this is what I try to do in my training, to make sure there's as many templates that saves people time and drives them forward. And in really, really good training programs, the time it spends you to put together what they're telling you to put together will be much better spent on the course. Even if you value, on my course alone, this is not a picture of my course, even if you value your time at £10 an hour, the time it will take you to put together all the systems and the processes and write them down, even if you watched all my free content to know what to do with them, you'd be more better in pocket from paying for the course. So I think it's pretty conclusive. I feel you should get a coach if you want to move forward. Do you need a coach? No. Can you move forward without a coach? 100% yes. But like for like, if you move forward with the right coach or without the right coach, without a shadow of doubt, you will excel forward more with the correct coach, so it keeps you accountable and everything. So this is that final question I've got to you. Ask yourself this and tell whether or not you really need a coach. Are you in a position in life where you thought you'd be at this stage in your life? So wherever you are at your age now, do you think you're in a position in your finances, in your relationships, in your health and your happiness where you thought you'd be? And if the answer is no to any 4 of those, then you probably need a coach, because the information there on Google, on YouTube, on Facebook at a click of a finger. So if information alone was enough, ask yourself why you're not there, because there's a massive knowledge action gap. We can know what to do. It's very simple to stay healthy, but doing the actual getting up and going to the gym is 2 different things. So being simple and easy is very 2 different things. It can be simple but not easy to implement. And this is where coaches, accountabilities, guidance, and takes you away from the overwhelm is absolutely ginormous. And one of the biggest failures is that internal dialogue in our own head, and that in dialogue builds up the more we get overwhelmed. The more we get overwhelmed, the more we procrastinate, and that coaches can guide you through and have that touch point and that support to help you drive through that correctly. The other thing that they can do for you as well is, you could be watching, like going back to the gym example, you could be watching how to do a bench press, but if you're doing it in slightly wrong posture or pushing that in a slightly wrong direction, you're not going to have the same results. And when you're doing it on your own, you don't know, just because you know what you're doing, don't know you're implementing that correctly. And just these slight tweaks of people watching over you has massive, massive benefits. So put in the comments, do you have a coach? As I said, not everybody will need one, but guaranteed if you want to push forward, getting one will push you through it. But make sure you get the right one. Make sure you disqualify the right coach. Make sure you get people you've got a bit of a connection with, but also can drive you forward. Not just someone who's going to massage your ego all the time, that is actually going to drive you forward and push you out your comfort zone, but not push you to the point of massive overwhelm also. So I hope you found that useful. As I said, my mission is to help as many people live on their own terms as possible by doing these videos, whether that's through the free content or whether you decide to jump on a coaching program with me. We do offer free strategy calls for people who want to explore the coaching with me. There's no sales on there. But just to be transparent, we have got a paid training program, but these calls are absolutely free. So you can check out one of these calls. If we help you, fantastic. You can move on and help you. If you want to jump on a training, also fantastic. I generally get a massive sense of achievement from helping people and helping people move forward. I couldn't coach everybody. So even if I hit just a fraction of people from my videos without the coaching side, that is a win-win. So please share these videos for as many people as you can. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon if you've not done that already. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, really helps the algorithms. Give us a comment below, and remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you never live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms. Have a fantastic day.